Sure, have you seen Rue? I haven't seen him in several days.
Yeah, I think he went on vacation, if I recall.
Vacation?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Vacation is when you get to leave your job and basically go do what you want.
Like, go sleep?
If you want.
Ah, nice. I know where I'm going for vacation.
I should have told you had vacation.
Anyway, who are we pulling in today?
Let me check here. How about this person?
All right.
There we go.
Oh, calm down.
Put down the acid.
You have got 5 seconds to explain how the hell I got here before I start Wait. You are dragons. Yes.
To our knowledge.
Yes?
Never mind. Let me just put that away. My apologies.
Thank you.
I have no tribute to give you, as I don't know where I am.
You're in the realm of forgotten memories and dreams.
And we don't exactly take, at least I don't. I know Ephraim would like.
Well, no, we don't take tribute from our guests. That would be rude.
Fantastic to know. You'd be the first dragons I've met to not ask for tribute.
Well, if you were a local in this realm, I'm sure we would ask for some tribute, I guess.
Or at least Ephraim would.
Consider yourself a guest here. And I am Ephraim.
And I am Ashura. We are the delegate. Well, 2 of the 3 of us are Delegation of Dreamers. The third appears to be on vacation.
I suppose we all need a holiday.
Well, the kobolds don't need a holiday. And speaking of which, if you'd like some refreshments, we'll have some kobolds bring you some.
Actually, I think Rue took Jeremy on vacation with him.
I'm fine. Thank you. No offense, but I don't trust drink or food from people that I've only just met. I'm Valanyx, by the way, but you can just call me Vala.
Nice to meet you, Bella. And we really do have to figure out a better way of bringing people in here.
I think a little bit of forewarning would be nice. Being yoinked out of my cabin in the middle of the night is not exactly fun.
I guess we could send a kobold in first, the person we're trying to summon. And they could be like a
messenger?
Yeah, and have a big sign saying, "You're about to be summoned." And then we summon them.
I mean, any warning is good warning.
Yeah. So, I'm not too familiar with your species. Are you some sort of elf?
Yes, but I'm of the rarest sort of elf. I'm a shadar-kai. We reside in the Shadowfell. Makes sense why you've not seen many of us. We are a rarity on the surface at any given time, anyway.
And your eyes appear to be black. If I recall shadar-kai correctly, that's not exactly a normal thing.
No, it's not. Quite an astute perception there, Ashura. I suppose you could say I'm a rarity amongst my own kind. These are, some would call it a gift, some would call it a curse. It's known as the Eyes of the Soulless. It's supposed to represent that the bearer of these eyes is going to have great magical prowess, far beyond what any normal shadar-kai would normally possess.
So would you say you're a sorcerer?
I am a sorceress, yes. I was born with magic, but far more potent than what it should be.
It's kind of hard to see where you're looking at. Like, if you're looking at my eyes or if you're looking at Ashura.
Shall I turn my head in turn to each of you to make it easier?
Yeah, or you could just point at whatever you're looking at.
Ephraim?
I can angle my body. Is this better, Ephraim?
Sure. Oh, it seems like this kobold brought some tea anyway. I'll have some tea. Thank you.
I'm good, Gretchen. Thank you, though.
I'm not going to lie, those kobolds are quite cute.
They are adorable. Pain in the butt sometimes, but adorable nonetheless.
They are adorable when they do their job.
Just like these cats. God help me with these cats.
I pity you with the felines. They remind me somewhat of Growls, the dragonborn we have on our ship. He's also adorable, very useful, and at least we can safely say he always does his job.
Is he in your party?
Sorry.
No, you ask your question.
I wasn't a question. It was just me thinking out loud that I have this theory that cats share a common origin with dragons because they're so alike when it comes to behavior.
Go for it.
Well, that was it.
Ah.
So-
I mean, they may have similar tenacities to you. Some of us try to get work done.
Given I'm not all that versed in cats and felines, I will just incline to agree with you.
But back on the subject. Is the Dragonborn part of your party?
He is not part of the party that comes ashore, no. He is one of the crewmates who stay on the ship and make sure that it is properly powered, should I say. It is a unique vessel.
what do you mean powered? Like man-powered?
Not quite. Our ship, the Shadow of the Seas, is one of the largest sailing vessels we have anywhere in Fentons. And Growls actually uses diamonds and refined diamond dust to keep the ship and her magic operational.
That's got to be rather expensive.
You have no idea, given the restrictions on gold and diamond trade now.
Why is there a restriction on gold and diamond trade?
Fortunately, one senator, a human senator, who sees control of the trade, he has since been put out of the picture, but the trade has not quite yet recovered.
Ah, politicians. They'll do that.
Quite.
So was him getting out of the trade, was that your doing?
It might have been.
How did that come to pass? Politician. He'd be rather guarded.
Well, he is, yes. This is a safe place to talk, I'm assuming. I'm not going to get beheaded for anything I utter here.
Considering the amount of stuff Airfirm has said, I highly doubt it.
We don't behead our guests.
Fantastic. My fellow party members and I, we had a fellow crewmate by the name of Claire, and she, by happenstance, was this politician's daughter who managed to bluff and secure and sneak our way right into his compound, into his private dining room, where we surprised him.
It's got to take a lot of luck on your end.
Surprisingly, I guess you could say we were exceedingly lucky, and also exceedingly unlucky. We almost lost 2 party members in the scuffle. It was only later that we discovered, after killing him twice prior, that he was a lich and we had to destroy his phylactery, then sneak into his compound and kill him again. At least now we can rest easy knowing he's not coming back again.
Ah, good. You've rid the world of a politician. Good job.
As one should.
Why, thank you.
Capitalism, am I right?
Exactly.
Your friend Claire, was she okay with killing her father?
If I'm not mistaken, she was the one who landed the killing blow.
Okay.
No love lost there. Trust me.
Okay.
So she did not have daddy issues.
Well, if she did, they've been laid to rest now.
All right, perfect. One way to deal with them. Who needs therapy?
Exactly. Just remove the problem.
Behead the problem, if you would.
You mentioned that you met dragons before and they wanted tribute.
Yes. You see, originally the dragons and the dragonborn and their kin were located on one of the central islands called Torgalen. As long as they were given tribute, they had agreed in a treaty long ago forged to remain on the island, but with the restrictions in the trade now, many of the dragons have grown restless, and so they've left the island, which then becomes a problem for others across other islands when you suddenly have a dragon that has decided this is his new lair, and now these people must pay him tribute. We've had a run-in specifically with 2 dragons like this. The first, a black dragon, massive creature, although he seems quite content to sleep on the bow of the ship as long as we feed him alcohol, and then he goes about his business. There's another gold dragon that resides on an island called the Bear's Head Chain. He's quite a young fellow. He doesn't quite understand many concepts. So as long as you feed him and give him company for an hour or 2, then he'll leave you be and go about his business.
So what would happen if your ship runs out of alcohol?
We haven't had that problem yet. One of our party members is actually about to learn how to brew alcohol as well. So hopefully we won't ever have to find out what happens when a black dragon lands on the ship and we don't have anything to give him.
Well, that's good. I hope you keep your alcohol stocks supplied.
I know you've been trying to drain ours.
Wouldn't dream of it.
No, not you, this one over here.
It just sounds very nice to sleep on a ship all day and drink alcohol.
If only that's all we did. But you're welcome to come sail with us. Just expect much alcohol in tribute then.
Don't give him that temptation.
I know where I'm going for vacation.
He doesn't need anything else going to his head.
I mean, lots of things can go to one's head. Alcohol should be the least of one's issues.
All right, that's fair.
As for what else we do, we are essentially balance bringers. As I've said, it's not a regular ship. She is sentient, a deity, if you will. One that we haven't been able to wholly identify. If you can get a sense of the purple amulet at my neck. This signifies that we effectively belong to the ship. And if we sense an imbalance, the amulets will actually guide us to the imbalance for us to correct it. For example, we had the misfortune of going to a particular island where werewolves were trying to summon the were-god Fenrir. And we had to go and find the skull and destroy it before they could complete the ritual. Thankfully, none of us got bitten.
I mean, some people are into that.
Too much for your liking.
Oh, God.
You can come up with puns, but you can't understand figures of speech.
It's a shame that we don't have Rue, because he might have been able to identify the magical source of the amulet.
It is a pity. Perhaps I'll have to come back again when he's back from his holiday and he could maybe identify it for me. We've had many try and fail, so that would be wonderful.
But I'm curious, how did you end up on the ship? Or how did you end up being owned by the ship?
Not to put too fine a point on it, we were all effectively chosen. Well, I would love to say we were volunteered. It was more we were voluntold. Each of us, we discovered later, had been coerced. I saw a vision from what I assumed was my goddess and put the amulet on, and then realized that I couldn't get it off again. Another of our crewmates insists that somebody of the crew gave them the amulet and they put it on, and we can't get it off again. So it is effectively like a curse. Those of us on the ship who are the amulet wearers have all already made an unspoken vow that we will see it through to break the curse upon the ship that keeps us there and set us all free. And if we still wish to sail on it, then we shall. I, for one, am happy to be sailing on the seas and seeing what adventures hold.
So you like being on the sea?
I like being on the sea as long as there is something between myself and the water.
Not a fan of the wet.
No, I've nearly drowned twice. Through no fault of my own, but I prefer not to be in the water.
Did you get knocked off the ship, or how did you almost drown?
Well, our former captain is a bit of a prankster. We were supposed to investigate an underwater city, and one of the mages on the ship gifted us all with water breathing, but I hadn't realized this yet, and the captain pushed me overboard and then jumped in after me and dragged me down, inciting a full-blown panic attack, to which I lobbed a mote of acid at him. He let me go, and I swam back up, and since then have not been overly fond of the water.
That's a good prank. All good pranks should have the fear of death in them.
So I should resummon the mote of acid and laugh as if it's a prank,
We really need to get an HR for you.
perhaps.
What does HR stand for?
Actually, no, we're going to need a DR.
Yeah.
But can you tell us a bit about the rest of the crew on the ship, or the rest of your boarding party? The ones that you normally interact with the most.
We have got Peter. He is an aquatic elf. He is our lead boarding master. We call him Fishstick for obvious reasons.
Wait, it's not obvious to me, though.
I mean, he's an aquatic elf. He lives with the fish.
An aquatic elf.
He likes fish sticks.
He does, actually.
He wants fish sticks in his mouth.
Ephraim, be very careful with your next choice of words. We don't want to get cancelled.
Okay.
Not yet, at least. And then we have Callan. He is our sergeant-at-arms. He is also our resident bard, who is at least good at keeping the peace with most of us. Our most recent addition is a species that I had no idea existed until she waddled up onto the gangplank. And that is a rather short, stout turtle by the name of Kunla.
Portal.
Her existence befuddles me. I don't know how to address her. She has the mentality of a child and is so innocent in so many ways that it's just, you feel this natural instinct that you want to protect it. It's strange because that is not my instinct at all, as my rather shoddy first impression of the both of you said. I'm very much shoot first, ask later.
Understandable with what you've been through, but we'd prefer not to be shot. So thank you for doing so.
Welcome. You are both the nicest dragons I've had the pleasure of meeting thus far, so definitely worth dismissing the acid ball.
Well, thank you. You're the nicest shadar-kai I've met.
I'm trying. My personality is still a little too frigid sometimes, but I'm trying.
So can you tell us some about the adventures you've been on?
Oh, there have been many. Apart from our subterfuge killing a senator, we've rescued a princess betrothed to another. We were invited to the wedding as well. That was wonderful. We've destroyed a font of madness and death. We've attacked a town of werebats as well, and a lair of a blue lightning dragon.
What did the werebats do to you?
Well, they attacked us.
Oh, okay.
It was obviously the wrong time of the month for them. Not my finest moment.
Oh, they have one of those days of the month?
Either that or something to do with the moon, perhaps, but
Ah, okay.
we were attacked nonetheless.
What happened?
I may or may not have burned the town down. Lightning bolt has an effect on wooden houses.
Ah, okay. Well, they attacked first.
The entire place burned to the ground, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Quite quickly, I might add, when you shoot more than one lightning bolt.
You shot more than one?
Yes, I shot 3.
I mean, you have quite the magical ability then. Be able to shoot 3 lightning bolts off at... In... God damn it.
Rapid succession.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Words are not my strong suit today. Ephraim, what are you doing to me?
Perhaps you require some coffee.
I require something. I don't know what it is. Maybe I require my own vacation.
That's not a bad idea.
So, what do you do for relaxation? On the ship, I guess.
Well, I meditate and try to be less reliant on my magical focus and turn myself into said focus. When we're on the ship, there's not really much of relaxation to be had. Everybody's got a job to do somewhere. But there is a place on one of the islands called the Alabriand Enclave, where there's a delightful old woman by the name of Auntie May. We try to frequent there as often as we can in between our adventures to honestly just de-stress. That woman actually taught this shadar-kai how to bake.
Oh, you bake?
I make bread.
Have you ever had garlic bread?
I have not thought of adding garlic. I probably should. That's a good idea.
It is delicious and it wards off vampires.
I don't think we've come across a vampire yet, but that's a good tip. I shall save that in our just in case and start serving more garlic bread.
Don't forget the cheese.
Ooh, I'm definitely going to try this later.
Another bread that wards off vampires is dwarven bread because it's so hard that they use it as weapons.
I would imagine if you have a baguette-sized thing, you could probably wield it as a stake.
Yeah. And they sharpen their bread as well.
They sharpen it with rocks.
I don't think the rocks are hard enough to sharpen the bread.
Yeah, sorry, grindstones. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
We can put it down to magic.
Do that, they just bake it for way too long.
Dwarven fighting bread.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a dwarven fighting ring with the bread every Tuesday.
Where? I must see this.
I'll invite you sometime.
Fantastic.
I thought the first rule of the Dwarven fighting ring was that you don't talk about the Dwarven fighting ring.
Well, that's for the fighters, not the audience.
Well, I thought this was a safe space, so anything can be spoken about here and then forgotten later.
Ah, true. I forgot about that.
Well, this is the realm of forgotten memories. I'm not surprised.
Did we tell her that?
I don't remember.
She's psychic.
No, we did. Don't worry.
Okay.
I do listen and pick up on things as well, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. What journey were you on when we pulled you in?
Currently, we are resting. We've made port and we are about to start our training to increase our skill sets. We've got our dear Peter who's learning to brew. We've got Callan who's learning new sword skills. Myself, I'm increasing my magical prowess, become more volatile than I already am. We're at an academy at the moment, although I'm not being trained at the academy. The others are. I train with my mentor in the Shadowfell.
Who's your mentor?
His name is Mithrenon, but we just call him Renon. He rescued me from the capital of Gloomwrought and has been training me after I was unfairly marked for death.
Why did they mark you?
Our former commander of the sect, I framed myself and several compatriots, thinking none of us would get out alive. I did, by some miracle, and woke up with this white tattoo you can see on my back. And he used that to frame me in that I was the cause of half his sect's death. And I managed to escape with the help of Renon and his grandmother. And we've been hiding in the wastes of the Shadowfell ever since. That was about 2 years ago. I've been frequenting the surface more because it's easier to hide amongst the regular folk than it is to hide amongst your own kind.
Yeah, I guess you would stick out with those eyes.
Well, I mean, I stick out like a sore thumb regardless because I look like an elf that's on death's door constantly. It's just easier to hide in a crowd of mismatched folk where you have Leonin and Loxodon and all sorts, humans, elves, Arakocras.
And a black dragon.
And a black dragon, yes. Not that we try and, be seen in public with dragons. That's a little awkward.
You don't want to be seen in public with dragons?
Not that we don't want to, it's that for them it is a status thing. All other creatures are lesser than they are. And so why would they be seen walking with the rest of us? We are there to serve and provide them with tribute.
Ephraim, don't get ideas.
Well, it's why I can confidently say that you two are the nicest dragons I have met.
Oh.
Thank you. If I may say, I honestly think your eyes look rather pretty.
Thank you. I do quite like their uniqueness.
It is quite unique, yes. So, can you tell us maybe one of your favorite moments of your journeys, other than beheading the politician?
Yes. Beyond the killing of the politician, we've had several moments that have been sort of the crown jewels of our escapades. One of our favorites. It was an enlightening moment of what happens when I don't learn to shut my mouth fast enough. I got us in trouble with a pirate orc captain, and we were challenged to a duel with his entire crew. We won, barely, but we did. It was a sweet, sweet victory.
Isn't a duel just between two people?
Well, it was a fight, to put it bluntly. They'd actually had a Colosseum type thing where fights occurred daily, and the orc captain bribed the people to have us go in there too for my audacity of insulting the man thing. Him. Mm-hmm.
You managed to beat up their entire crew.
We did, barely, but we managed. It was quite the thing. I would say another crowning moment was shocking, not literally. I've steered away from lightning bolts since the town incident. We were led into a trap by a priestess of Lolth by the name of Valshares. She had resurrected many of our crewmates' loved ones, and I assume she obviously wanted us to face them and fight them. And in a moment I can only say was a sheer blessing from, be it the unknown deity in the ship or the Raven Queen herself. I managed to gather our party, and I shadow ported us out of her trap and got us back on the deck of the ship.
That's got to take up a lot of magic.
I mean, I don't remember anything beyond landing on the deck of the ship and waking up 2 days later. Does that count?
That would probably explain it, yeah.
But yes, I managed to get us out of what would have been a sticky situation.
Would you have to fight all of your old dead relatives?
Not mine, but for example, she'd resurrected Callan's mother, whom they had buried long ago. And she's very much into necrotic and such energies, and a little bit of necromancy as well. We have a feeling this is not the last we've seen or heard of her. We're in fact preparing for her to strike again, as Kunla has just lost a dear friend of hers. We suspect Valshares is behind it.
How do you plan on taking them out?
Well, we've discovered a prophecy of sorts that we are still trying to make sense of. But there may be a way to free them without actually hurting them. We just don't know how yet. It was a recent discovery at one of the libraries on Bear's Head Chain, and we are now delving as deeply as possible into this prophecy to see if there's a way we can free my shipmates' loved ones and rid the realm of a drow priestess at the same time.
I mean, drow priestess can be quite a pain in the ass.
Well, this one is proving to be so. Ridiculously so.
Why ridiculously so?
Well, I mean, she hasn't stopped trying to come for us as the balance bringers, because she knows that at some point she is going to fall onto our little spectrum, and we are going to stop her.
Okay. So, what plans do you have for the future? When you defeated all your enemies and you've freed the spirit of the ship?
Well, then we'll just have to wait and see what more adventures await us, be they still with the ship or in the Shadowfell, or I'm of a race that needs a little bit more excitement and the feeling of being alive to survive.
You're not a race that retires.
Well, that would have to be quite an extenuating circumstance to retire. I've not found one yet.
Mhm. I'm sure you will.
Eventually, perhaps. If not, well, there's always the next adventure.
Speaking of the next adventure, I think it's about time that we get you back to it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
I apologize for overreacting at first, but this has been quite a delightful experience.
Yeah?
Delight for us as well. And we would love to have you again if you so choose.
I would be delighted if you send a kobold in warning first.
We'll see if we can figure out how to do that. But until then, have a good awakening.